Hi, welcome to the Georgia Department of Education Orchestra PLC community. My name is Sean Morton, and I am so excited to be joining you this year as your moderator for our Orchestra PLC. Our PLC community is a place where we can come together and share ideas and collaborate and connect with each other, share resources, and hopefully engage across the state, no matter how much distance is between us. So if you're excited to get involved in our community, you can find directions on signing up on the Facebook page for the Georgia Department of Education Fine Arts Department there, or you can go to the georgiadoe.org and you can search for the fine arts section and find the information there as well to sign up. So this will be a great opportunity though for us just to come together and learn from one another and share ideas across the state. So I'll tell you just a little bit about myself, and there's some pictures there. I grew up in mostly in Gwinnett County here in Georgia, and I started playing like many of our students do in school. I started in 6th grade in Gwinnett County Public Schools as a student playing viola. And I chose viola. I always tell my students this story. I chose viola not because I thought, oh, this is the best instrument in the world. It's because they had too many violins, and so I chose viola. But actually, it's funny because viola has been the perfect instrument for me. So it's a great instrument. I loved playing viola, and starting in middle school, it was a perfect fit. So I started just like our kids do, and that's why I think it's so valuable to have these programs in our school. It made such a huge difference in my life. So I started playing in the public school system. And here in Gwinnett County, started at Duluth Middle School, and now I actually teach in that cluster. And then went on into Collinsville High School. At that time, music was just something I did for fun. Didn't really take it seriously. Thought, this is nice, something fun to do, but really thought I was going to be an aerospace engineer. And then got to high school and discovered that there was a lot more out there for me in music, and fell in love with the orchestra program at my high school at Collinsville High School. And my teacher was such an inspiration. And so ended up, by the time I was done with my freshman year of high school, it totally changed my thoughts and decided I wanted to be a music educator. So all through high school, really took it seriously and decided to study music. So I attended the University of Georgia and majored in music education. And then I also have a master's in business administration from Shorter University. And you can see me up there with my parents in the top corner. We actually did our master's program together. This is really fun and exciting to do your schooling with your parents. You learn a lot about yourself and your parents. And I currently live in Beaufort, and I live with my husband, Dale, and my son, Hudson, who's 9. And we have 2 bratty little Shih Tzus named Mozart. He's the little gray one. And then we have Arya, who is our little brown and white Shih Tzu. So they're our pride and joy of little bratty dogs. And some of the things I love to do in my free time, I love reading all kinds of books, especially fiction. Anything Harry Potter universe is my jam. Love all the reading. Spending time with friends and family, especially when we're not in the middle of COVID. Shopping, doing all this fun stuff. I especially love summertime, like most teachers. Not only because we get a break, but because I love spending time at the pool and just relaxing with my 9-year-old. And then fall is also my favorite season because the weather is fantastic. And I love karaoke. I can do some mean rapping there in karaoke. And I love traveling, especially before COVID. Lots of traveling, really miss traveling. Definitely miss getting out and going around seeing new things. So some of my favorite places I've been, I'm a huge Disney buff. My husband and I love going to Disney. We went on our honeymoon there, and but I've expanded my palette of traveling. So probably our favorite place we've been is Alaska, but we love to take cruises. I love Italy and France and all along the Mediterranean. So really love to travel and cannot wait until I can get back to traveling. I have a picture of a Diet Coke up there in the top corner. It says Go Getter. I'd like to be a go-getter, but I'm only a go-getter because I have caffeine in my system. So I definitely live on Diet Coke, and I'm powered by Diet Coke there. I love technology. I'm not afraid to try to press a bunch of buttons to get stuff to work. Even if I break it, I'll just figure it out and fix it. So I definitely like to try all the new technology out there. And one of the coolest things that's happened this year for me is I discovered during quarantine that I could art journal and watercolor. And so I have an iris up there that I watercolored during quarantine. And I've really, watercoloring and art journaling has become a real passion for me during all the stress of this year as we've kind of, engaged through all types of new teaching and new experiences. Doing some art when I get home has kind of been a way for me to decompress and step away from all the stress that can surround us during the school day. So definitely something I thought I'd never do and never thought I had a talent for, but definitely been a way to engage myself there. So I'll tell you a little bit about my teaching experience and my background for teaching. I just threw some words here up on the screen that I think are pretty good descriptors for me. I have 19 years of experience in the classroom. I've taught at the middle school and the high school level. I think the idea of growth mindset is extremely important. I feel like, we always hear about being a lifelong learner. And to me, that is the most important thing every year. And even this year, as we're going to conferences virtually, I still am going to all of those conferences. And I think I've signed up for more webinars and conferences this year than ever because I need more information now than ever to be the best teacher I can be in this environment. So I definitely think a growth mindset is something that represents me. I've been a collaborative teacher my whole career. I've co-taught my whole career, which is interesting. It's been a wonderful part of my teaching career and something I treasure and really value in my teaching career is that I've been blessed to collaborate my entire teaching career. I'm really passionate about mentorship, and I'll talk a little bit more about that as we go. And then in general, I'm just a really passionate teacher. I get very excited about things. The kids laugh at me because, when something goes right, I go crazy. Now, they know I'm not going to give them false positives, but I definitely, when things are going well and when we're just cooking along and it's going great, I'm definitely super passionate and excited about everything I do. So I'll share some pictures as I tell you a little bit more about my teaching experience. So I told you I've taught for 19 years. I currently am teaching at Duluth High School. It's in Gwinnett County. I did my student teaching also in Gwinnett. You can see my picture of my orchestra teacher, John Harriman there. He's my mentor. I was fortunate enough that I was able to actually go back and student teach with him. And it's not always recommended to do that, but the program there at Collins Hill was so strong. And he was such a mentor to me that it was really a beneficial experience. I also was lucky enough to also teach part-time in a middle school program during student teaching with Sydney Millard at Cruz Middle. So I had some great mentors when I was entering into my teaching career. I was very fortunate when I first started teaching. I had a wonderful opportunity to follow an amazing teacher. And my first job was at Five Forks Middle School, which is a wonderful program here in Gwinnett County. I taught 5 years in middle school, loved every minute of it. Probably the tiredest I've ever been, though. The kids were wonderful. Something that I was really proud of while I was there is I grew the program considerably. That school is about 1,000 kids. When I came there were about 200 kids in the program, and I left, there was about 315. So I really am passionate about recruiting and retention. And so I felt like that was something I really wanted to grow while I was there. So I loved teaching middle school. And then I've been in my current position for 14 years at Duluth High School. We currently serve somewhere in the neighborhood every year between 315 to 330 orchestra students at Duluth High School. And I have a full-time co-teacher, and he's wonderful, Dr. Peter Lemons. So I have some very great colleagues that I'm blessed to work with. And I've been blessed with wonderful mentors who have really helped fuel my passion for teaching. And as much as I've been blessed with those mentor teachers, I'm very passionate about mentoring. I take on student teachers almost every year, sometimes more than one a year, sometimes one in the fall and one in the spring. And student teachers to me are really our future. If we don't really nurture our own, then we don't have programs going forward because one day I'm going to get old and probably have to retire. So I definitely feel like mentorship is something I care a great deal about. I love working with student teachers, young teachers especially. Very passionate about helping those teachers find the best version of themselves. But also, my favorite part about working and mentoring with other teachers is I find it makes me a better teacher. It forces me to examine my own teaching. I'm not going to ask a student teacher to videotape themselves if I'm not going to videotape myself and critique my teaching. So it definitely keeps me on my game every year and keeps me on my toes. And it makes me really remember to be critical of my own teaching and not get too comfortable. So definitely I love mentoring. I think when I retire, my dream job would really be to go on and do instructional coaching or work with student teachers. I feel like that would be a great job for me in retirement, but no time soon. I currently serve as the lead teacher for high school orchestra for Gwinnett County Public Schools. It's a job I really enjoy because of the mentorship piece, but also because I get to be involved in decision making. and get to help really foster our community and our county. So I love being a lead teacher. I also co-conducting, see on the picture there, that's our one of our county youth orchestras here. That's our Kendall Youth Orchestra, and I co-conduct that orchestra. And it's a group made up of 6th through 8th graders from our county. Wonderful group of young people that we usually have about 90 kids in the group every year. So it's a huge group of kids. They are fantastic. So much fun to work with every Monday night. And then we put on 2 concerts a year normally. So I've been the co-conductor of Kendall. I think this is my 11th season with Kendall Orchestra. And I've had some amazing experiences as a teacher that have kind of shaped who I am now. I had the experience to work on the new Georgia Standards of Excellence and serve as a writer for those, the ones that we're using now. That was an amazing opportunity for me to really delve into our standards, understand our standards, and link them back to our national standards. I felt like that was something that helped really grow my perspective as a teacher. And then in addition, I was able to take that back to my own county and help build our own version of the curriculum. We use what's called the academic knowledge and skills. And so in our county, we have our own version. So I got to help build that as well. Another thing that's shaped me is I really like doing presentations and going to conferences and being involved in other people's presentations and just sitting and listening. I've been fortunate enough to present at several conferences. I've presented at the Ohio State University Summer Workshop for string teachers on marching orchestra, which I'll show you a little bit about in a while. I've presented at the GMEA In-Service Conference, the National ASTA Conference, and the Midwest Clinic. My favorite topic to always present on is always recruiting and retaining students. And it's something that evolves for me every year. My strategies change because the kids are changing. Our kids, when I first started teaching, no kid had really a cell phone in a middle school. Are you kidding me? That was like such a luxury item when I started teaching way back in 2002. And so now, our kids are coming with totally different technology, totally different experiences. Our families look different now. And so it's important that we adapt our recruitment and our retention strategies. I have more bilingual students. I have more students of second that are not native English speakers. So I have to adapt my materials to those families. It's really important that I'm always updating my recruiting and retention strategies. So I go to as many presentations as I can on recruiting and retention, and I love to give presentations about that topic. I also was fortunate enough to present with one of my former student teachers on building that collaborative piece between student teachers and supervising teachers, and how to actually move a student teacher from someone that's coming into your program and then moving them to being really a collaborative partner instead of someone that's just following you around all day, and how to build that relationship with a student teacher. So I've been very fortunate to present at some great conferences and attend some great conferences. Another favorite experience I've had as a teacher this year is I got to appear on the Orchestra Teacher podcast and talk a little bit about hybrid teaching and digital learning, which has been very exciting for all of us as we navigate this new environment that many of us are teaching in all sorts of different environments across the state, whether you're in person, all digital, hybrid, there's so many choices now. So I think we're all definitely looking around always for new ideas and solutions. So I was very fortunate to appear on that podcast, and it's a podcast I subscribe to and love following and listening to all the different presenters. And finally, I'll just tell you my philosophy of teaching is that I believe in providing a high level of instruction, but in a warm and safe environment for kids, while always incorporating multiple instructional strategies and delivery techniques. But my final goal is always to help those kids grow academically, emotionally, socially, so that when they leave me, even if they're not going to go on to be music educators or string players for the rest of their life, because most of them won't, that they leave our program and really have this great tie back, and that whenever they see something related to orchestra, it creates this feeling in them that they just get so warm and fuzzy, and that they're going to become great, consumers of music in their community, and their kids maybe one day will participate in music and they see the value in the arts. So that's really my philosophy and goal as I teach every year. So I'll tell you a little bit about some of my program highlights and share with you just some things as we go along. Like I said, my program currently serves 315 high school orchestra students. We have 5 different string classes and 2 full-time directors. And I'll tell you about some of the fun things we do at our school, and maybe you'll want to try them. I'll be glad to share ideas, and I'd love to hear your great ideas through our community about some of the cool and unique things you're doing in your program. So, one of our favorite things, and what we always think is our claim to fame, is we have we always call ourselves the world's largest marching orchestra. So, every year, the city of Duluth holds a big fall festival parade. And we march all of our orchestra, all 300, whatever number of our kids, and our eighth graders. We use it as a recruiting opportunity down the street with their instruments, including the cellos and the basses. So the violins are marching, violas are marching, they've memorized their parade tunes. The cellos, we've put straps around them so they can march and play at the same time, and the basses are strapped to rolling golf carts, and down the road we go with our parade tunes, and we participate in the Duluth Fall Festival Parade. It's quite the spectacle, but so much fun. Definitely one of our students' favorite events all year long is being in the marching orchestra parade. So it was really hard this year not having the parade. And in fact, even in the digital environment, without being able to have the parade because the festival was canceled, we actually still learned parade tunes. We start the year with those parade tunes, and we do them because it teaches ear to hand skills. It's all taught by rote. It's a great way to start the year. You don't have to have sheet music ready. You don't have to have, you automatically have something to teach those kids the very first day. So it's a big community builder in our program and in our local community. And it's something our kids really like to do, even if they complain that it's hot outside in September. Another thing that our program likes to do that's kind of unique to our school is we run a fundraiser called Cow Patty Bingo with a real cow. And our students sell raffle tickets, and each kid collects their raffle tickets, and each sold raffle ticket is assigned a square on a field. We let a cow out loose on the field, fenced in. If the cow leaves its a deposit on your square and you're the first deposit, then you won $1,000. So that's our big fundraiser for the year. It's been a great fundraiser. And the day of Cow Patty Bingo, we treat it like a fall festival. We bring in a petting zoo. We have cotton candy. We have dancing. We have, snacks and games and activities. So it's a great social event for our kids as well as a fundraiser. So it really serves two purposes. Another wonderful program highlight for us has been our national anthem that we perform cluster-wide. Every year for one of the home football games, we have what's called Fine Arts Night. And all of our little elementary choruses, so we have 4 elementary school feeders. They bring their 5th grade chorus. Our 2 middle school feeder band, orchestra, and choir, guitar, and our high school band, orchestra, and choir all come together. We line ourselves up on the yard lines on the football field, and we perform the national anthem all together. It can be about 700 kids on the field. It's incredible. Because usually the middle schools only bring, their 8th graders or a portion. And so, but we bring all our high school kids. It's an amazing spectacle, such a cool night for our kids to be honored and be seen on the field at a football game. We don't want to be a band, we're an orchestra, but we love that experience that the band gets of getting out on the field. And even better, it really gives us some community building with our band and our choir. And we love supporting our band and our football team, even if they're not winning that year, to go out there and perform the national anthem. It's a great opportunity to be cross-curricular, talk about the national anthem. So many great lessons we've had come out of that. We also do a big event every year called Halloween on the Green, where students from our top 2 groups get dressed up in costume. We have books of Halloween music. And Duluth Town Center, where I work, has a huge green space with a stage that we can go out and play on. And we do Halloween tunes before they have a big Halloween celebration out there for kids. And so it's a fun time. We do a costume parade for the kids. We get dressed up and conduct in weird costumes. My co-teacher is always a pirate. I've been a marshmallow peep for a long time. So that's my go-to costume. So that's another great community builder. And the kids love doing a Halloween concert. It's worked really well with our top 2 groups because they can have the distraction of not only learning their concert music, but learning a second book of music. They're able to do that and be pushed along pretty quickly to learn that music. And then every year we take our top orchestra to the KSU Invitational. I really recommend orchestra teachers, if you haven't tried it, do some type of invitational. There's so many around the state, and all the universities, many are offering different opportunities, but we've enjoyed going to KSU and taking our kids out there to play. Some other program highlights for us is we've made 2 appearances at the Midwest Clinic with our chamber orchestra. We've served as a demonstration group for the National ASTA Conference 3 times now, I believe. We've performed at the in-service conference for GMEA twice. We are actually a featured performance for the 2021 GMEA conference this year, so we're excited to have a performance that will be airing. We've performed at the Kennedy Center and Lincoln Center, and we do a European tour with our kids every other year, which has been really fun. And, you know, if that's something you're scared about or you're nervous about, partner up with another teacher. I teach at a Title I school, but we still are able to get kids that save up and go. These things are really, they can be done. And I'm always glad to share, and I'd love to hear your ideas too about travel and things you've done with your kids. But we partner up with some other schools in our community, and the orchestras around us, and we all go together. It's been really fun, and it's been fun for our kids to get to know kids from the other orchestra programs nearby. We take 5 groups to LGPE every year. Definitely a marathon every single spring. Very exciting. We offer music scholarships to our seniors that are going on to major in music. Like many of you, we teach the best and brightest kids in our schools. So many of our students go on to major universities. Currently, we have students at Yale and Harvard and Stanford, and you can see the list there. Just such great universities. This is one of the things I really highlight to our 8th graders when we go down and do our big dog and pony show and recruit in the spring, is we talk about, look, you don't have to, we're not here to make you major in music, but look at all these great places that our students have gone. And actually, I get some of our kids that have gone on to these universities to make promotional videos for our 8th graders and talk about why it was so important for them to be in orchestra throughout high school and how it actually helped them as they were heading into these prestigious universities. And we have had students to go on to major in music ed and performance. We currently have a student who's playing in the New World Symphony. We have students in major conservatories. So we've been very fortunate to have amazing students come through our program. Very, very lucky. So I'm going to share with you a video here. This video is our group performing at the Kennedy Center in Washington, D.C. And it'll just be a quick clip of Copeland's Hoedown. So here's some pictures for you to see, just some of these events I was talking about. You can see our students there at KSU in the top left, throwing their cowboy hats up on the stage after they played a piece that involved cowboy hats. You can see our national anthem in the top right there. You can see all those little cutie patootie elementary kids down on the field there, as well as the white shirts are our high school orchestra kids, and you can see some purple mixed in. Those are some of our middle school orchestra, and then the band behind us there. So you can see that's such a cool experience for our kids every year. There's our chamber orchestra in the bottom left in Washington, D.C. And then in the middle, kind of on the bottom there, is our group along with some students and teachers from Peachtree Ridge High School, where we went to Austria together. So we're in Austria there in the gardens where they filmed Sound of Music. And then you can see our students getting ready for the parade. And you see the kids in the cow costumes. They get really excited to dress up as cows every year. And they dress as cows as seniors because they get to give out candy in the parade instead of marching with their instrument. So it's really fun for them. So that's a really exciting experience. And then there's me and my co-teacher dressed in our Halloween costumes. And then in the middle there is our cow that came last year. And that's my son with the cow. And then there's a pretty good picture of our orchestra on the top right coming up Main Street in Duluth. Actually, I think it's Buford Highway. And you can see that sea of purple balloons that goes on forever and ever. Those are our sweethearts marching down the road there. Bottom left, you can see some more pictures of our kids getting ready for the parade, all excited with the banner. Then our students in the bottom right there are at the ASTA conference getting ready to be a demonstration group for one of the pre-conference sessions in conducting. And then these couple pictures, this is from the Kennedy Center on the left side, and then our last performance at the Midwest Clinic. So really our students have gotten some great performance opportunities and have really given us some amazing opportunities to go places with them. I really recommend traveling with your students. It's a whole new experience. So there's our contact information for the Department of Education. I'm so excited to be collaborating with each of you this year, and hopefully you can share some great ideas. And as we get to know each other better across the state, hopefully we can make some great connections. It should be really fun. So I'm so excited to see all of you, and we'll see you in the communities.